Hello everyone, welcome to Snack Chats, and we just saw the ending for KO Let's Be Heroes. The final 2 episodes, Plaza Tournament, and thank you for watching the show.
No, thanks for watching the show, bye.
So, before we get into the discussion about the finale itself, when did you start watching the show, by the way?
I think there was like a whole slew of pilots with Gumball and other stuff, and KO was one of them, and I was sort of disappointed that KO was not one of the ones that really got greenlit.
Yeah, I remember that, but it wasn't Gumball. That was like way before. I think Gumball was actually a show at the time. The other shows that came out with it was Clarence, Steven Universe, and there was one called Paranormal Roommates, or made by the same crew who made regular show.
That was all the way back then?
Yes.
Oh, I thought Paranormal Roommates was more with 12 Forever.
No, 12 Forever was like after that.
Oh.
There was 5 pilots altogether. Steven Universe, Clarence, Lakewood Plaza Turbo at the time, KO now, Paranormal Roommates, and some sort of like Mars show that was kind of bad. Oh, and my science project from the future, or whatever it was.
That's whatever.
The 2 latter shows just sort of died. I first found out about the show through its pilot, which was surprisingly really good. And it sort of bummed me out at the time that 2 of the shows that were coming out were like Steven Universe and Clarence, but Lakewood Plaza Turbo didn't get picked up until years and years later.
To be fair, out of all those pilots, it was Lakewood Plaza Turbo, aka OKKO. I think everyone wanted OKKO, even my friend Sean, who didn't really care about Cartoon Network at the time, and he thought it was just going to plummet, and as such was thought of as a bad move in like a lot of my friends' regard, that they didn't greenlit it at the time.
Well, it seems like even today Cartoon Network had no faith in the show because they canceled it mid-production.
Yeah, and they had to accelerate all these ideas and just sort of haphazardly do a lot of the reveals and stuff like that.
I say before we talk more about its cancellation, we talk about the special itself.
Yeah. How'd you like it?
I mean, I thought it was really good. The final episode, well, final 2 episodes, they say it's 1 whole hour event, but these feel like 2 vastly different episodes. Like, one ends off the whole arc with TKO, while the other one's sort of the epilogue. But I do think they're both very strong episodes.
I was sort of confused after KO finds out that his 2 halves are the same thing, instead of being a multi-personality disorder type of a deal. Life goes by him so quick, and he doesn't remember a lot of things. Like, I sort of first thought that, like, oh, he's just growing up. But then he says that he doesn't remember anything. And I'm just like, wait a minute.
Well,
then could this actually be a plot point thing? Even though it's like the last episode?
I guess they imply that when you're an adult, or growing up in general, life's gonna move really fast. It seems like all the importance are gonna happen one after the other. And eventually, you're just gonna forget sort of the smaller details.
Yeah, that too, but it's just like, I don't know, I felt like him forgetting was a little bit too much. Like, I feel like it should have been like a fast forward type of a deal.
Well, I think the episode, thank you for watching the show, was sort of a cheeky way to say, yeah, we got a bunch of episode ideas, and we really wanted to expand on these characters, but whoops, we were cancelled.
Yeah,
Too bad.
But it was also because KO pretty much looked like the same age, while everyone else looked like they were changing.
When KO came to the acceptance that he was growing up, that's when we have that whole montage in the first person of everyone else changing and stuff. That's to imply that, you know, he is growing up and just going with the flow.
Yeah, I don't know, I think it would have helped to, like, show him that he was getting a zit or something during the whole, like...
But, like, the second half when he was actually growing up, it was from his perspective.
Yeah, I don't know. It just sort of confused me at the time.
So I guess since we're doing this a bit out of order, let's talk about the Plaza Tournament. How did you think the TKO plotline sort of wrapped up? Especially since the last few episodes before it really were hammering down that this plot point about how TKO took over is now sort of running amok across the world.
I felt like it happened really fast. And I know that's not the creator's fault. I think that's more just on Cartoon Network's fault. Like, literally, I feel like if OKKO actually got greenlit when it was first a pilot, I feel like it could have been, like, literally as popular as Steven Universe today.
Yeah. I guess it was kind of, well, obviously some plot points before it were sort of rushed for the sake of comedy. Like how we found out that Professor Venomous was KO's dad.
Mm-hmm.
I guess this is really late, but spoiler discussion, I guess.
Oh well.
So, yeah, it did seem like some reveals happened at such a breakneck pace.
And not only that, I feel like, what is it? The whole revelation that, like, KO and TKO are the same person. Just like, okay. I feel like there should have been more episodes to develop that they're the same person, instead of just saying, like, oh, I guess we're just the same person, even though I just pretty much destroyed the whole plaza, nearly killed my family and friends with my papa that's having the same exact problem, etc., and almost wanted to kill the world.
Well, to be fair, they did establish TKO, especially from, like, the very beginning of the show.
Yeah,
I know you came in sort of late when it came to the show.
I didn't really come in late, it's just that, like, I sort of took a break on it, and then got back into it. It's just that...
Because they sort of established that TKO is a par KO, but just sort of a version of him that's, you know...
They do, but the thing is
and that's why stuff like PKO existed. Because that was just them in perfect sync.
Yeah, but that makes it seem like PKO is the only time that they're in sync. Like, that they could never be more in sync than that. Now it's just like, oh, we're permanently fused. Now there's no way of going back to a separated TKO and KO, etc. Like, I don't know. Just, I felt like it was more of like a personality disorder type of a thing, by the way that they were setting it out to be. Like, yes, if you have a personality disorder, that side of you is always going to exist. That's what I got from the earlier previous development. While they just were sort of like, oh yeah, puberty. Now I know that's just me.
Well, obviously when you're growing up and stuff like that, and, you know, KO was always trying to be, like, upstanding citizen numero uno. So, obviously, he never really got, like, mad or angry throughout the show itself. It just sort of shows that, you know, you do have these feelings. And TKO just sort of appeared because of the fact that he bottled up those feelings. He tried to push them away. He tried just to be, you know, happy, a hero 24/7, you know, for the sake of everyone else, that he neglected his own feelings. And that's why the rise of TKO sort of happened.
Yeah, but still, it's just...
Plus, I did think a lot of stuff like the animation in this episode was really, like, top-notch.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I mean, obviously, it was as... Usually a lot of the animation in OKKO is usually a mixed bag. But I do think a lot of designs and animations and some of the fights were really entertaining.
Nothing can beat that Sonic crossover, though. That Sonic crossover was definitely, like, the best animated part of OKKO.
Yeah, the episode did have some nice scenes, especially with the robot version of KO.
Yeah.
Anyway, so how did you think the series ended off in a whole? Like, what did you think of the send-off, especially with the episode? Thank you for watching the show.
I feel like they should have, like, for the story, I feel like it went from 0 to 100 in, like, the later part of this series. So I feel like they could have probably evened it out more, you know? Maybe do like a Steven Universe thing where, like, you may think that none of these episodes have any correlation, but in reality there's, like, hidden messages that alludes to the ending.
I guess they do sort of do stuff like that near the beginning.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it did seem like any plot-related elements were sort of closed within themselves.
Right. And also I like how they basically send the message that any type of love is, like, accepted, like, with all these marriages happening.
Yeah.
Like, what is it, the broccoli and the bunny got married, what is it, Enid and that Time Girl.
Red Action.
Yeah, Red Action got
Yeah.
married.
They didn't show them getting married, but it's implied that they have like a future together.
Yeah. Gar and the mom got married.
Gar and Carol got married.
Yeah, and then, was it that Buddha guy with the action guy? They got married.
I honestly forget their names off the top of my head.
Yeah, but regardless, gay marriage.
Yeah. During that final, like, sort of, epilogue montage, I did think something that was really sweet is that Dendi became, like, the owner of the CEO of the POW card company. And as we know, the history about POW cards is that they didn't accept Kappas. So it was once a company to her that didn't accept her and her kind, and now she's, in charge of it. So I think that's kind of a sweet message.
Yeah, there's just a lot of good messages in there.
Plus, they kept the blank age between blank and blank age joke, because every birthday candle was relative to the whole 6 to 11 joke.
Yeah. And now it was like 14 to 18 or something.
Well, each time they showed like 2 birthday cakes, it was always blank age to blank age. That was relative to the 6 to 11.
Yeah. So.
Oh, plus, another noteworthy thing that happened, there was a few crossovers in the ending montage.
Yeah.
They had the Planet Gang again. Garnet showed up for a bit. The villain from Crossover Nexus reappeared, and there was a few Cartoon Network cameos in the background.
Right, which is a great way to send off.
Like they had the Secret Saturdays and Class of 3000.
Yeah.
It was really nice. I was sort of, it would have been cool if they did have like a small Sonic cameo, but since they aren't like really a part of Cartoon Network like the rest of them are, it would have probably been kind of rough to get him back.
Even though they recently did that episode.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it was a really nice special.
And it was a really nice show too. I wouldn't say it's like Courage the Cowardly Dog cult classic, but
I feel like people who really enjoyed the show now will sort of make it a cult classic in a year or two.
Yeah.
Because it is gonna suck that ended right here. But they at least told the stories that they wanted to tell, and they at least tried to wrap everything in a nice bow.
Yeah. Now, how do you want to wrap this up in a nice bow?
We can talk a bit about the cancellation, because behind the scenes, it was kind of rough for the crew, because while they were working on the show itself, they just got slapped with a notice that, hey, the show's over, it's canceled. And people have been speculating about it, and it actually happened, and it was kind of rough, because, it seemed like the crew really wanted the show to flourish, but Cartoon Network didn't really want to give them the time or the effort.
Yeah, I mean, the only way that we really knew that was still going on is, how did we know? Because there isn't too much advertisement for it at all.
Well, I guess there was a whole thing. I honestly don't know the details off the top of my head. It was some sort of cartoon union thing where they catalog what's still being worked on, what's over, what's going on in the future.
Yeah.
And some guy confirmed that, yes, Steven Universe is still going to have more seasons, still going forward. Then someone asked about OKKO, and they're like, production's still going on, but that's over.
Yeah, I understand that advertisement budgets and all that are bad, but still, it's something.
I don't know. It did sort of suck. It seemed like OKKO was, especially near the end when they started to get, more bombastic episodes, it was sort of a bit slow at the beginning, but, when it jumped really high in quality.
Yeah, on that Sonic springboard.
And it did sort of suck to see it go. I'm just happy for what we have, and who knows, maybe in, the future we can get more OKKO. Maybe some sort of anniversary special on Netflix 20 years from now. And, Ian Jones-quartey is still gonna be working on shows in the future. It'll be cool to see what he wants to work on next. It just sort of sucks, because this was sort of his passion project. OKKO was sort of his baby.
Yeah, well, maybe Cartoon Network will treat his next baby correctly. Because they treated Steven Universe even worse than him, but...
well, at least they didn't cancel Steven Universe mid-production.
Well, if the Steven bomb at the end of season 1 didn't hit off, which luckily it did, they were going to cancel it.
And we know how that turned out. Steven bombs forever.
Yeah, because
no consistent episodes, just Steven bombs.
Bomb, 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 boom.
We're sad to see OKK, OKKO go.
KK Clan.
OK Kid Chameleon go. But, you know,
Kirby.
don't be sad that ended. Be happy that happened at all.
Yeah.
I think that was from, like, Cowboy Bebop. I forget.
Don't cry because it's over. Smile because it's over.
Anyway, thank you again for listening to Snack Chats. Please like, subscribe, leave a comment just to help us out in this godforsaken algorithm. And thank you for watching the show.
And don't cancel us. Bye.
Bye.
It's only magic. Isn't it amazing when you know? Every second that you see is 24 connected pieces. Thank you for coming. Thank you for staying. Thank you for watching the show.